How about election integrity here at home? There's a bill
Let's
right
get the
now.
SAVE Act.
Right.
Let's get the SAVE Act. No,
but what's going to happen with that?
Well, we're working very hard right now to get the Senate to approve it, because if the Senate approves it, we think the House would approve it too. Now, that would require, I think, some Republican senators who maybe they're a little too attached to the filibuster, maybe they're a little too attached to Senate procedure. This is about the integrity of American democracy. Like, do the people control who they elect, or do some shady people? It's like, who actually controls the people who cast the ballots or the people who count the ballots? We want the sovereignty to be with the people who cast the ballots, and that's why we have to get the SAVE Act passed. Now, you'll hear people say all the time, and I love this argument. They'll say, well, if you look at this precinct, only 3 illegal aliens voted in this election. Number one, that's 3 illegal aliens too many. And number two, if it's not a big problem, then why not just allow us to check ID and exercise some basic precautions to prevent illegal aliens from voting? I never quite understand the person who says, on the one hand, this never happens, and on the other hand, your effort to prevent it from happening is a threat to American democracy, which is fundamentally the Democrats' argument. By the way, it's like an 85-15 issue.
Yeah.
Most Democrats want voter ID because they want to protect their own vote.
But the elected leaders don't want to vote for it.
The elected leaders don't, because they know that the more control they give to the people who are counting the ballots, as opposed to those who are casting the ballots, the more control they will have, because the deep
So what happened?
state
Is this where the rubber meets the road, like on the filibuster, and whether we get rid of it, which John Thune doesn't want, a lot of
I hope that it is, Megyn. That is what we're working very hard to make happen. Now, there is also some in-between solutions we're working on. Like, for example, could you allow the Democrats to preserve the filibuster, but actually force them to go and do a real filibuster? Like, not where
stand there,
a procedural paperwork filibuster, but stand there and talk. If you really want to prevent us from checking ID before votes, if you really want to ensure that illegal aliens have the right to vote, then stand on the Senate floor, Cory Booker style, for 30 hours and defend that to the American people. At the very least, then we'd have a real debate. We're working on it. I can't tell you how it's going to turn out because I can't predict 51 GOP senators, but we are making some progress.
Let's talk affordability for a minute here.
Yeah.
A lot of people still suffering. President Trump says, look, we've made a lot of progress, but the average American sitting at home doesn't feel it, because the polls show that the numbers are not good for the administration on the economy, and that just reflects what people are feeling.
Of course.
So what can actually happen, let's say, between now and November, speaking of the midterms, so that people actually feel better about what's happening in their wallet?
Yeah. So if I will say, if you look at the numbers on affordability, they're starting to move in our direction a little bit. But there's clear movement from where there was, say, 4 or 5 months ago. I think that's a good thing. But here's the way that I think about it, Megyn, is if you go just dollars and cents, the average American household lost about $3,000 of net wages during the Biden administration. That's through inflation, that's through higher taxes. The average American household, now this is about a month old, but had gained about $1,200 during the Trump administration. So there's a good news, and there's a bad news. The good news there is that compared to last year, you were $1,200 richer than you were. The bad news is that compared to 4 or 5 years ago, you're about $2,800, or I guess $1,800 poorer than you were. Okay, so we recognize there's still a lot of work to do. I don't think that there's anything to do, Megyn, other than to do the work. We continue to have a lot of capital coming into the country. That means higher wages, more jobs for the American people. We continue to see grocery prices, I think, starting to come down a little bit. There are a couple of categories, we really worry about, beef in particular, that we're working very hard to bring down, not for the midterms, but just because we want the American people to buy some ground beef and to buy some steak if they so choose. There are things like cars and houses where we're seeing some real progress. Rents have now declined 5 months in a row. That's a big thing that's happening. So it's one of these things where I don't think you're going to be able to trick the American people. They know they got $3,000 poorer during the Biden administration. I think they're going to judge us by how much we've made them wealthier. And I think that come November, the verdict there is going to be positive. But we just have to keep working at it.
The number one question that my audience wanted me to ask you.
Oh, God.
I know. I was actually surprised by it. Was they think the Republicans suck at messaging.
Okay.
They want to know what the administration is going to do to get their arguments out more strongly on immigration and on the progress that they've made. I think there's a frustration, actually, amongst the GOP base that there have been a lot of wins, but people don't know it, and that there actually is a sound immigration policy, but they let the left run with this narrative, and the media is only too happy to spread lies about the 5-year-old boy who was wrongfully deported and all that, right?
Sure.
Is there a plan?
There is. I mean, one is the president and I are just going to get on the road a lot more in the next 8-9 months. And, part of this is you've got to, look, CBS, NBC, ABC, there's always going to be an editorial slant to those networks, but they're also declining in power. So I do things like this. I talk to you. I talk to your viewers through this conversation. But most importantly, we get out on the road constantly because most people still consume their news through their local affiliate, right? If their local CBS guy is saying, oh, the vice president came to town, the president came to town, this is what they're talking about, that's how you get the message out there. It's non-traditional media. I think we were very good about this in the campaign in 2024. It's something we want to get back to in 2026 is actually taking the message to people. Going on a lot of podcasts and a lot of the non-traditional media, which frankly, I think has more narrative power than the traditional media does. That's part of what we just have to do. I think the first year we're so focused on governing. Now we've got to go out there and talk a little bit more about what we've achieved. I do think there's a lot to hang our hat on, to be proud of, that the American people should be proud of. But you're right, we got to get out there and talk about it more.
Somebody who's not shy about talking at all is Gavin Newsom. He's been everywhere. Vogue really loves him. I don't know if you saw the Vogue piece on him, but they like
I don't make it a habit to read Vogue or to read about Gavin Newsom.
I kid you not. This is the lead line of their piece. Let's get this out of the way. He's embarrassingly handsome. His hair seasoned with silver. At ease with his own eminence as he delivers his final State of the State address. It must drive Trump nuts. Newsom, lithe, ardent, energetic, a glimmer of optimism in his eye, Kennedy-esque. Do you expect Vogue to give you this same treatment when you sit down with them, Mr. Vice President?
Just completely unbiased reporting. That is like something out of Pravda.
Yes.
That's what Pravda would have written about Stalin. This is crazy.
What you're up against.
Yeah, but I mean, how many people read Vogue?
Nobody. But it was just a segue into 2028, and
my favorite topic.
Whether you think there could be a square off with the Kennedy-esque Gavin Newsom and possibly yourself.
Well, we'll see. I mean, look, I'll give you the answer I've given to other people, Megyn, which is, it's so far in the future.
I don't want the answer you've given to other people.
Yeah, but it's the truth. And all I can tell you is the truth is, look, I think that if we take care of business, the politics in 2028 will figure itself out. And if we don't take care of business, there's no amount of salesmanship that is going to change that. You've just got to actually do a good job at the job that we have right now. And I think the American people, hopefully in 2, 3, 4 years, say, you know what, we want another term of the governance of this agenda. We don't want to go back to the crazy woke Democrats. We want to double down on reinvesting in America, on rebuilding the American middle class. I think that's ultimately what they're going to decide. I can't predict the future, but it's why I'm focused on the job that I have now. The other thing, Megyn, is I made this observation, and I think that it would be so warping and because of that, very bad for the American people if I woke up every day and thought to myself, how do I maximize my chances in 2028? Mm-hmm. Because sometimes the answer to that question, in fact, probably most of the time, is going to be a little bit different than how do I maximize the chances of giving the American people a win, right? I got to focus on this job or I'm going to hurt a lot of people who really depend on me.
Mm-hmm. Can I just ask you about the personal considerations that go into it? You're expecting a 4th baby.
Yes.
You have a young, vibrant, very smart and successful wife.
Yeah.
Who had a big career before you guys got here.
Sure.
So what will factor into whether you actually do run?
Oh, I mean, a huge factor. Look, if we ever have that conversation seriously, it's, do the kids actually want to do it? Do they like this? Right? I mean, so far they're very happy. They've actually thrived in it. And I think our 8-year-old struggles more with it than our 2 younger kids because, they're both, you've met them, but the 2 younger kids are extroverts. Right, Usha says the 2 younger kids are like me and the other kid is like her. Mm-hmm. So he doesn't like the attention. He doesn't like the cameras. He doesn't like that people are always offering to do special things for him. Even when the special thing is nice, he just kind of wants to blend in a little bit. So I think the question is going to be, can the family support it happily? Can we keep our family healthy? And if the answer is yes, then obviously that's a notch in favor of doing it. If the answer is no, I'd say that's pretty dispositive towards not doing it. But again, we'll have that conversation in a few years when we've actually done a good job here and can have that conversation with, I think, a little bit more of, first of all, it's there staring you in the face. It's not 3 years in the future, it's now. But also just where we have a little bit more sense of what is good for the kids. I mean, my first obligation, as much as I love the American people, it's to my wife and my kids.
Yeah.
And we got to keep them happy. And so far, so good.
International disputes, inflation, rising national debt, digital currency. There is a never-ending list of reasons that gold has risen over 700% in the last 20 years. And a never-ending list of reasons smart Americans diversify a portion of their savings into precious metals with Birch Gold Group. Gold can thrive during uncertainty, which is why it's a crucial part of a balanced strategy. It gives you peace of mind, given all the events that could impact the U.S. economy. See if holding gold in a tax-sheltered retirement account is right for you. Birch Gold can help you convert an existing IRA or 401k into an IRA in gold. Just text MK to the number 989898 to receive your free info kit on gold. There's no obligation, just useful information. With an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and tens of thousands of happy customers, consider letting Birch Gold help you diversify with gold, so you too can have peace of mind regardless of the uncertainty. Text MK to the number 989898. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.